I will use the mortise and tenon through joint I've made in the previous videos to make a wooden mallet. This part will be the handle. I drew a simple shape in one side, and I will copy it in the other side. And I will cut it with the jigsaw table. First I make the straight cuts. Now, to cut the curves, I cut perpendicular to the line. And to clean the cut, I move my workpiece from side to side. I will use this small drum sander to sand the cuts I've made in the handle. The drum sander bottom should be below the drill press table, otherwise it will leave an unsanded strip in the workpiece, but I will turn the workpiece to fix that. I turn the drill press on. I press my workpiece against the drum sander. And it is surprising how fast this thing sands. This is the strip it cannot sand. But to sand that strip I just have to turn the workpiece. I sand all the cuts, making sure the piece I get is symmetrical. And now I will route it. I will use this round over bit. It is 10 mm in radius. One day I will learn to set the right router speed so I avoid burnings. Now I use a 14 mm in radius round over bit to round the corners of the mallet head. And well, I was not expecting to get this little strip. It looks like at some point I've put a smaller bearing in this router bit, and that is why it cuts this little strip. But I like how it looks, so I will keep using this router bit. And yes, with that little strip I think it looks much better. So now I sand both parts of the mallet. I use gross grit sandpaper to get rid of the varnish. Then I use medium grit sandpaper to sand everything. And finally I use fine grit sandpaper. And now I do the same to sand the handle. After some minutes sanding, I thought this mallet was almost done. But the handle doesn't fit here very well. So I draw on the little strip the shape of the handle. With an arrow chisel I cut on the pencil line. And now I get rid of the strip in between the marks. so now the handle fits better. But the sides don't look very nice, so I will use the drum sander to sand a bevel to each side of the handle. I sand and I check how it fits until I like how it looks. Some sanding, and now it looks much better. Now I have to cut the part of the tenon that protrudes the mallet head. But first I glue both parts of this wooden mallet. And I let it dry overnight. Now, instead of cutting it, finally I decided to sand a curved shape. So I measure and I draw some reference marks. And once again I use the drum sander to sand the curved shape. I sand with medium grit sandpaper and then I wrote it again. So now I also have that little strip there. I sand everything with medium grit and fine grit sandpaper. I clean it and I varnish it. I let it dry and I sand with very fine grit sandpaper. I clean it and I spray a second coat of varnish. This is a lightweight wooden mallet, so it is not the best one to hit the chisels. But it looks really nice, so it will be a nice ornament. Thanks for watching. In the description you can find the links to the videos where I show how I made the tenon and the mortise. And if you like my videos, thanks for subscribing to my channel.